3 words. Just 3 tiny little words. But these 3 words confuse English learners all over the world. Be, been, being. Have you ever looked at a sentence and thought, wait, is it be or been or being? And then you just stopped speaking because you weren't sure?
Oh, I've seen that happen so many times. Students know what they want to say. Their idea is clear. But the moment these 3 words show up, everything freezes.
And that freeze, that moment of doubt, that is exactly what today's episode is about. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Sophia, your host, and this podcast exists for one reason: to make English feel less scary and more natural. We don't teach rules here. We teach understanding. We teach, feeling.
And I'm Jason, co-host and English teacher, and I have to be honest, even I had to think carefully about these 3 words when I first started teaching them.
Really?
Really? Because they look so similar. Be, been, being. 1 letter difference here, 2 letters there, but the meaning changes completely.
And that is what we are going to fix today. By the end of this episode, you will not just know the rules, you will understand the feeling behind each word, and that understanding will stay with you forever.
No memorizing long grammar charts, no complicated definitions, just real conversation, real-life examples.
Before we begin, if this podcast is helping you on your English journey, please subscribe and leave us a comment. Tell us which word confuses you the most: be, been, or being. We would love to know.
All right, Sophia, let's start from the very beginning.
Let's start with the first word, the simplest one: be.
And I want to start with the question. Sophia, what do you want in your life right now?
Let me think. I want to be more patient.
Perfect. Say that again, slowly.
I want to be more patient.
Now, listeners, notice what Sophia said. She didn't say, I am patient. She didn't say, I was patient. She said, I want to be more patient. That word be, it's connected to a wish, a goal, a dream.
Exactly. Be is not tied to right now. It's not tied to the past. It floats in the space of possibility. What you want, what you hope for, what could happen.
Let me give more examples of how we use be in daily life. A parent might say to a child, be careful on the road.
A teacher might say, be quiet, please, we are starting.
A friend might say, just be yourself, you'll be great.
A coach might say, be strong, be focused.
Notice something about all those sentences. They are advice, instructions, encouragement. They are not talking about the past. They are not describing the present moment. They're talking about how to act.
Be is like a direction, someone pointing forward and saying, go this way.
I love that. Be is a direction.
And for dreams, I want to be a doctor. I want to be fluent in English. I want to be someone my family is proud of.
Those sentences carry hope. They carry ambition. And they all use be.
So, if you remember nothing else about be, remember this. Be is for goals, for advice, for dreams, things that are not yet fixed, things that are still open.
Now, listeners, pause for a second. Think about your own life. Complete this sentence in your mind. I want to be...
Maybe you want to be confident. Maybe you want to be better at speaking English. Maybe you want to be happy. Whatever it is, that sentence is using be perfectly.
All right, let's move to the second word. And this is where many learners start to feel, nervous. Been.
Jason, has anything interesting happened to you recently?
Actually, yes. I have been really busy this week.
Say it one more time, slowly.
I have been really busy this week.
Now, listeners, hear that. I have been busy, not I am busy, not I was busy. I have been busy.
And the feeling of that sentence is different. When I say I have been busy, I'm not just talking about one moment. I'm talking about the whole week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all of it. The busyness started before now, and it is still happening.
That is the power of been. It connects the past to the present. It says something started and it still matters now.
Here's another example. I have been learning English for 2 years.
That sentence carries so much. 2 years of effort, 2 years of practice, 2 years of not giving up. All of that lives inside have been.
Now, here is something very important about been, and I want every listener to hear this clearly. Been never stands alone.
Say that again.
Been never stands alone. It always needs a partner. That partner is have or has.
You never say, I been tired. You always say, I have been tired, or she has been working very hard.
Think of been as someone who needs a friend. Been is never alone at a party.
I love that. Been always brings have or has along.
More examples of been in real life. I have been thinking about this for weeks. She has been feeling much better lately. We have been friends for 10 years. He has been waiting for a long time.
All of those sentences, can you feel the duration, the time? Something started before now, and it is still connected to now.
Been is also used to talk about experiences, places you visited, things you tried.
For example, I have been to Paris. That means I visited Paris before. I experienced it. I am not there now, but that experience is part of my life story.
I have been nervous before a big test. I have been in a difficult situation. I have been through a tough time.
All experiences, all things that happened before, all things that shape who you are today.
So, been is for experience, for duration, for things connected from past to now, and it always needs have or has beside it.
And now, the third word, the one that feels the most alive, the most human, being.
Being is my favorite of the three.
Why?
Because being is about right now, this moment, this behavior, this feeling, and it can change.
Let me give a real-life example. Imagine your friend is usually very talkative, very energetic, always laughing, but today they are quiet. They are not speaking much. What do you say?
You might say, "Hey, you're being very quiet today. Are you okay?"
Exactly. You are being very quiet. Not you are quiet, which sounds like that is their personality, but you are being quiet, which means right now, today, this moment.
That is a huge difference. Being makes the sentence temporary. It says this is not permanent. This is just happening now.
And that small difference can change how a sentence feels emotionally.
Let's compare two sentences. You are difficult. That sounds like I'm judging the person, like that is who they are forever. You are being difficult. That sounds softer. It means right now, in this situation, your behavior is difficult, but it can change.
Being leaves space for change, and in relationships, that space is so important.
More examples of being are, she is being very kind to everyone today. He is being so patient with the children. I'm being honest with you right now. They are being a little too loud.
All of those, notice the feeling of now, this moment, this behavior.
Being also appears in a structure you will hear very often. Something is being done. For example, the problem is being fixed. The food is being prepared. Your order is being processed.
In those sentences, being tells you that an action is happening right now. Someone is doing it in this moment.
So, being right now, current behavior, things happening at this moment, temporary, can change.
Okay, let's bring all three words together, and I want to tell a small story to show how they work.
I love this part. Story time.
Imagine a person named Mia. Mia wants to learn English. She is nervous at the beginning. She says, I want to be confident when I speak. That is be, a goal, a dream.
Then a few months pass. Mia has been practicing every single day. She listens to podcasts, she reads, she speaks with friends. She says, I have been practicing for 6 months now. That is been, experience, duration, effort over time.
And now, after all that hard work, she is in an English class. She raises her hand, she answers a question. Her teacher smiles. After class, the teacher says, Mia, you are being so much more confident lately.
That is being, a change happening right now, right here, visible to everyone around her.
Same person, same journey. 3 different moments, 3 different words. Be, been, being.
And when you understand the story, you understand the words. No grammar chart needed.
Let's talk about the most common mistakes learners make with these 3 words. And I want to be very gentle here because mistakes are how we learn. They are not something to be ashamed of.
Absolutely. Every mistake means you are trying, and trying is everything.
Common mistake number 1. Learners say, I am been tired today.
The idea is correct, the feeling is right, but the structure needs a small fix. We say, I have been tired today, not I am been. Been needs have or has, not am, is, or are.
Common mistake number 2. Learners say, I being happy today.
Again, beautiful idea, warm feeling, but we say, I am being very happy today. Or, more naturally, I'm being very positive today. Being needs am, is, or are beside it.
Common mistake number 3. Learners use be when they need been. For example, I be learning English for a year.
And the correct version is, I have been learning English for a year, because we're talking about something that started before and continues now. That is been, not be.
These mistakes are so common, and they are so understandable. These 3 words are close cousins, easy to mix up.
But now that you understand the feeling behind each one, you'll catch yourself more naturally, not by remembering a rule, but by feeling, whether the sentence is about a dream, an experience, or something happening right now.
Before we talk about mistakes, I want to say something important. These 3 words are not just grammar. They carry emotion.
Say more about that.
When someone says, I want to be happy, that's not just a grammar sentence. That's a person sharing a deep wish, something they're working toward.
And when someone says, I have been through a lot, that sentence carries pain, experience, survival. Those 2 words, have been, hold so much weight.
And when someone says, you are being so kind, that sentence is a compliment in the moment. It feels warm. It feels real. It feels now.
So when you learn these words, you are not just learning grammar. You're learning how to express time, feeling, and meaning all at once.
And that is what makes English feel alive. Not rules, not charts, the feeling behind the words.
I always tell my students, learn to feel the language first. The rules will follow naturally.
Exactly. And today you felt be, been, and being. That feeling will stay with you much longer than any rule. Let's do a small activity together. Jason, I'll say a sentence. You tell me be, been, or being.
Ready.
She is very funny today.
Being. She is being very funny today. Because it's a current behavior, right now.
Perfect. Next one. I want to a better person.
Be. I want to be a better person. Because it's a goal, a wish for the future.
Excellent. Last one. He has working hard all week.
Been. He has been working hard all week. Because it started before now and continues.
Perfect score, Jason.
Now, listeners, Your turn. Try those same 3 sentences out loud. Say them with confidence. Even if you make a mistake, say the sentence again. That repetition is exactly how it becomes natural.
And here's a sentence I want every listener to say right now, out loud, wherever you are listening. I have been learning English, and I am being more confident every day.
Say it again. I have been learning English, and I am being more confident every day.
That sentence uses been and being, and it is completely true for every person listening to this right now. Jason, what is the one thing you want every listener to take away from today?
That these 3 words, be, been, being, are not your enemies. They are your tools. Be is for your dreams. Been is for your journey. Being is for your growth right now.
I love that. Your dreams, your journey, your growth. All 3 live in those tiny words.
And if you mix them up sometimes, that is okay. Every time you try, you get closer to natural English.
The big lesson today, English is not about being perfect. It is about being understood, and it is about being brave enough to speak.
That is the whole thing right there.
All right, everyone, that is a wrap on today's episode. Today you learned B for goals, advice, and dreams. Then for experiences and things connected from past to now, always with have or has. Being for current behavior and temporary situations, always with am, is, or are.
Your challenge this week, use one of these 3 words in a sentence today. Just one sentence, in a conversation, in writing, or even out loud alone.
And share it in the comments below. We read every single comment, every one.
Thank you so much for being here today, for learning, for trying.
If this episode helped you, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share it with someone who is learning English.
Until next time, keep learning
Keep speaking.
and keep being brave.
Bye, everyone.
See you next episode.